The Constitution will not be saved in Washington.
Travis Wayne Goodsell. I see my computer hackers are back after backing off for the most part with last week's election. Why am I so important to them? They and I know, though you, the audience, may not know and may not believe, because Mormons have slept through the fulfillment of Book of Mormon prophecies as they are currently happening right now. For the past 4 years, they've been happening right now. I've listened to the nonsense that Herbert was speaking. He's not only requiring masks, he's also doing what my landlord did and has made this official for the whole state of Utah as well. But he's allowing people to go to work, allowing people to go to church, and allowing people to shop. He just doesn't want you to socialize with your family during the holidays. His priorities are screwed. And I could go over again what he is needing to do. He needs to shut everything down. Shut down all ports into the state, lock everybody down, shut everything down, and have hospitals on emergency alert, not sitting at the hospitals waiting for people to come to them. They need to go to the people, door to door, like you do during a real national state of emergency. And then he's got to provide food and sanitation for everybody while they're shut down. That's what you do during a viral outbreak. You get the doctors and medical professionals in hazmat gear, going door to door. It's just pathetic how he just gaslights us, that blames us. And he refuses to stop the championship games. But all the other games, he just refuses. He says he's not interested in stopping this. We can stop it. It can be done. We just wait until it passes. You know, like Moses, Passover, hello. This is part of the fulfillment of Book of Mormon prophecies that has slipped right through Mormons' fingers, as they had the perfect opportunity to declare to the world that the Book of Mormon is true. And nope. The book that they go around telling everybody is true, they're silent on. Yep. Because the church allowed the critics to criticize that the Book of Mormon is a fraud, not history, and so Mormons are like, we're being picked on and persecuted for our religion and our Book of Mormon, and so we're going to change it so that we can believe whatever we want, and therefore it's true. And thus, they've slept through the fulfillment of the Book of Mormon. God damn you all to hell. As we head into the complete and utter disaster part of the next phase for the 4 years left. And so yeah, I will be sending another brief to the courts, even though they're not going to put it on the docket, but they will get it, because it will be emailed So they will receive it. They will see it. They will know. But, yeah, I'll do a reading when I finish it. So at least you guys will know. So, this video. What Mormons slept through. I've been doing it. We're just going to do it again with a different title, hoping to catch as many new people as we can. Because YouTube's analytics are preventing me from getting through to the majority of the people that need to get to this video. And similar ones like it. So, yes, I am Mormon. Yes, I do believe in the Book of Mormon. But no, I don't believe it's history. I know it's not history. I testify to you. It is not history. I bear my testimony that I know the Book of Mormon is not history. It was not a translation from ancient plates. But it is coded. So again, let's hit the highlights. First Nephi, chapter 1. Huh, right in the beginning of the book, you say? Yes. The character is talking about how he's writing this record in the language of his father, Lehi, which consists of the learning of the Jews. Which Jews? The pre-captivity Jews. They have a whole different concept than the Babylonian influence and corrupted Jews. Post-captivity. This is pre-captivity Jews. And it's in the language of the Egyptians. So it's not in Egyptian, but he's throwing it out there that the Egyptian records are the source of the learning of the Jews and for the source of the material that he's presenting. And so here we are. Verse 4. In the first year of the reign of King Zedekiah, king of Judah. Okay. Well, who's King Zedekiah? He's the one put on the throne of Judah by Babylon. Babylon came and conquered. And instead of taking them captive, they said, give us tribute. And to make sure that you give us tribute, we're replacing your king with our puppet king, Zedekiah. And as a result, prophets emerged, warning the Jews living in Judah, in Jerusalem, saying it's the end of the world, we're all going to die. Babylon will come back. Babylon is the great and abominable, as they talk about a latter-day great and abominable. As John in Revelation talks about Babylon being the whore of the earth in the latter days. As Joseph Smith in Doctrine and Covenants, section 1, verse 16, talks about Babylon falling. What? Babylon already fell. What are you talking about, Joseph? It's because a future symbolic coded Babylon is to fall. Well, Babylon was a theocracy. We don't have a theocracy in America. Well, we don't, do we? So you have to read the context. It's talking about the religion of the particular country that is to fall. And I've gone over it with you. The 3 days of darkness crosses. The first and the last day of darkness crosses over America. So we now know it's not going to be Jerusalem that will have this great last battle. We know it is not Egypt that will have this last great battle. It's right here in America, because that's where the sign of the first and third day of darkness cross. That's how you know. They don't cross over Jerusalem, they cross in America. Southern Illinois, to be specific, which is called Little Egypt, by the way. I wonder if somebody knew something and put coding out there for us. Say, the Knights Templar, who had acquired Egyptian treasure plates and had buried them in the earth in caves in southern Illinois, of which the Book of Mormon claims to be an Egyptian treasure plate buried in the earth, as Joseph talks about seeing a cave of treasure plates buried. Yeah. The York Rites Masonry was Knights Templar at the highest rank. So that's why Canandaigua, New York, is the keystone of LDS Church history. But all Mormons have been led astray. Oh, we like sheep who have been led by wolves. And so this first year, Lehi sees the sign of the Son of Man. He himself says, carried away in a vision, even that he saw the heavens opened. That tells you it's a sign in the heavens. That it's not an actual people floating around in space. Hey, wow, this is fun. That it's a sign in the heavens. A sign in the heavens refers to a conjunction of celestial bodies in a specific location. And they have zodiac constellations. That's where the celestial bodies rotate around or through, as we see it from Earth. And that's what's called a sign in the heavens. It's a calendar date. It's a universal calendar date for Earth, because anybody, regardless of the calendar system they create, will know the date according to the signs that are recorded. And this is all science, by the way. Astronomers, they know. Wikipedia has taken that page down. Boo. Bring it back. They had a listing of all solar and lunar eclipses way into the past, way into the future. Now they have an archive thing with special highlights. Boo. So now I got to go searching through my files to see if I can find the one that I downloaded. What a mess. But nonetheless, this is the signs in the heavens that are recorded in the Bible are fixed. You can't just guess. You can't just make up a date. They are what they are because they are written as they are. Some of them are general. Sun shall be darkened, moon turned to blood, stars fall from heaven. That happens every year. So what? But Revelation 12, the sign of the Son of Man. Very specific. There is only one date. Because the more celestial bodies included in that sign, the more specific it is. And if you have taken astronomy, or if you remember back in grade school when you were given the class on astronomy, each planet, as seen from Earth, rotates at a certain number of days and goes through the different constellations at different times. and each have behavioral patterns as seen from Earth, distinctive from the others, because of their placement in our solar system, as well as the sun and the moon. This is all astronomy. This is science. This is hard science. You have to accept it. You can't deny it. And so, yes, they gave us the dates. And so, yes, the enemy knows the dates. And they're using that to mock us. And so, in this first year, when a puppet king gets put on the throne of Jerusalem, Lehi sees the sign of the Son of Man. It's the exact same sign of the Son of Man that Isaiah talks about, that Matthew splits up talking about and claims that occurred 2,000 years ago-ish. But yet it never happened. Why? Because the date is specific. It's a sign. And it's a specific date. And it did not happen during the Roman period. I'm sorry, all of you Christians who believe that Christ was a historical figure. It's all fiction. The sign did not occur. It's astronomy. It's science. You can't just deny it and claim that he came and is coming again. You can't use religion to denounce truth, to denounce science. There is a history of that with the Catholic Church and the Spanish Inquisition and other atrocities. But they don't dismiss truth, because truth is independent. Truth still exists despite the abuse of those who want to keep it suppressed from the people. So this coronavirus, doesn't matter if you're a coronavirus denier, there's still a coronavirus, and it's still killing people. Do you understand this? And so, no, there was no Jesus of the Gospels. It is, just like the Torah, a prophecy of the latter days. The signs in the heavens. And so, having a stellarium program and verifying that it is accurate, sure enough, 23rd September 2017 was the date I found. And I could verify to check, does it appear anywhere else in history? You can spend a lot of time checking, because there's a lot of years to check. But I can assure you, I bear testimony. I bear you my witness that it only occurs once. 23rd September 2017. That's the sign of the Son of Man. What happened in 2017? Is there anything similar to the first chapter in the Book of Mormon, in the first book of the Book of Mormon? Sure enough, hey, we had a presidency election. A new president was put on the throne. Inaugurated as president. And interestingly enough, he lost the popular vote by over 3 million. And come to find out, as the Senate this year finally released Volume 5 of their Senate Intelligence Committee report on Russia's interference in our 2016 election, that Russia did indeed put Trump in the presidency, as Trump is desperately trying to keep his compromised position with Russia a secret, trying to withhold the financial information of his compromat to Russia. Doesn't want to release his taxes. Doesn't want to release Deutsche Bank's information. And then we can get to Nelson in a minute. Remember him? And a temple yet to be determined in a major city in Russia. And Mormons cheered. And I went, oh crap. Because I understood the Book of Mormon warning. There's a great and abominable church, and there's a nation. An abominable nation. And knowing that the first and last day of darkness crosses over America tells us that the nation is America. And then it's just a matter of determining which religion. You can cross off Catholics. They're in Italy. You know, the whole Vatican thing. So you gotta look for a religion where the founder was assassinated and needs to be restored. Yeah. You guys have all slept through it. The Book of Mormon tells you how to identify the great and abominable church. It tells you how to identify priestcraft. It tells you how to identify the philosophies of the Antichrist. And you slept through it. You get up on your rammy-umptums in church, now that the church is opened again, and you go and declare your love for the Book of Mormon as they're teaching the Book of Mormon in Sunday school this year. Of all years, it's the Book of Mormon, and all Mormons missed it. Because this first chapter of Nephi in the Book of Mormon is telling us to watch out for the 2016 election. Because in 2017, the sign of the Son of Man is going to occur, and the president who gets put on the throne, which turned out to be Russia, is going to destroy it. Because that's the message Lehi gets. The destruction by Babylon of Jerusalem, the promised land. And that sets up the whole book. So, we then have 3rd Nephi chapter 11. This supposed Christ, who I've now shown you, did not exist. And so he does not exist in the Book of Mormon either. It's not a history. It's a coded message. So his coming down from the heavens? Well, that's John's revelation about him flying on Pegasus in space. It's the sign of the 3rd day of darkness. And sure enough, right before that event of the sign, there's 3 days of darkness in the Book of Mormon. And so what happened before this? Well, they tell us 4 years after the sign of his death, there's this king who is made king. He's of the kingmen. They overthrow the government. They overthrow the religion of the Nephites. And they place a king on the throne. But in these 4 years, since that event, he loses the election after 4 years. They're tying it to the first chapter of the first book of the beginning of the Book of Mormon. We just witnessed that loss, that defeat of the puppet king by Russia, who was installed as king because of the GOP Senate, who acquitted him. And we also had a chief judge die on the Jewish New Year. 3,333 days from the Jewish understanding of the date for the Exodus in the Torah. That whole Moses thing, which, again, we're looking for a future Moses to restore the church from the murdered, assassinated Joseph Smith, to restore the government, to restore the Constitution, to establish Zion, a city of peace, where everyone must flee or they have to have a sword to fight. And we have guns and all this stuff, but you have to fight for survival if you don't make it to Zion. Well, guess what? We don't have Zion. It doesn't exist. We're still waiting for an Exodus. But the Book of Mormon tells us there's destruction coming first, which will cause an Exodus. And all Mormons slept through it, not understanding the Book of Mormon. They go around telling people, as 18 and 19-year-olds now, "It's so true, I feel so strongly about it, and you can't judge me." Yes, we can. By the Book of Mormon, we judge you and condemn you. You slept through it. You ignored it. You voted for Trump. Despite having the Book of Mormon, you voted for Trump. And all GOP officers in the state of Utah. So, again, I try to reach out to as many as will hear. Those who have ears to hear, let them hear. Awake and arise. O Babylon, we bid thee farewell, ye elders of Israel. But who is listening? Governor Herbert just slammed the anti-maskers. He caused them because he refused to shut things down and protect everybody. So the people then gave in to the QAnon conspiracy lies. I'm not calling them theories. If it can't be sound and produce a prediction, it's not a theory. It's a fake lie, fallacy. You have to redo it, come up with something else. So I don't like it when people say conspiracy theory. You're using the wrong definition. You gotta come up with a different word to use for that. Leave conspiracy theory alone. Because it's a conspiracy theory what QAnon is doing to misinform and disinform the public. That's all part of their trap. And Mormons fell for it. And now Herbert, who caused the confusion because of his criminal negligence, because of his failure to follow health professionals' guidelines. When he knew there was a pandemic you need to shut down the borders. Have testing at the borders. Don't let anybody in unless they've tested negative. And even then, you still should hold them till they get tested negative 3 times. But there was a certain national executive who was working against the national interests in withholding testing, withholding protective gear. Like I said, you see it in the movies. When a viral outbreak occurs, they're in hazmat suits. They're not in just face shields, not masks, because the coronavirus can get in through the eyes. It's airborne. So wearing masks isn't going to have it go away, as Herbert even admits. He has no intention of eradicating the virus from Utah. He wants businesses and the church opened. And so he has to accept a number of deaths in order to make that happen. He is willing to sacrifice you to make the church stay open. The church that follows everything that is described about the great and abominable church, about the church of the Zoramites, about the Antichrist, about the secret Gadianton band with their secret oaths and covenants, their secret words and signs. So, are you really wanting to be Mormon, claiming you love the Book of Mormon and then you know it's true, but be in denial of it, defying it? Screw you. If you're going to trust the Book of Mormon, you need to do the research that I did. You can't hold back and just claim something's true. And then when you get questioned on it, when you can't answer the questions and it starts to make you uncomfortable, you can't claim protection of religious freedom.